Mr. Best, what it's like to be back in this stadium. A lot has changed since the late 70s, I guess.
Yes, a lot has changed. I mean, it looks fantastic. They tell me it's a whole complex, but it still looks lovely to me. I hope that they, either do what they need to do to it and keep it on this site, because this is a very historical site, and for me, it's great to be back and being here with you all and looking at it, and I think they've done a fantastic job to keep it like it is.
You still recognize the stands, because I mean that structure has remained the same.
Yes, everything is the same. I think one of the ends wasn't like that. Now it's seating all around, and in those days people were able to stand up a bit, so it made it that more interesting, and it was always nice to go to the Feyenoord end and play because they cheered you on and rooted you on.
What are your memories about that season playing for Feyenoord?
Oh, it was unbelievable experience. It wasn't the best of seasons for us. It was a hard time at that time. I came over to replace a boy called Nico Jensen, who was from Amsterdam, and he had a bad injury, so I was able to come over and try to fill in with the team, and it wasn't the best of season, but it took me a season to get used to the cold weather, and,
but then it was over already.
It was over, yeah, but it was tough. I mean, if it was like this here, I mean, it would have been a breeze, but in those days, hey, it was freezing, so it was a new adventure for me. I mean, I think playing in Holland during their time was probably harder than playing in England because the weather was so tough on you,
It didn't work out as you expected beforehand, I guess.
Well, it didn't. I mean, if you're a goal scorer, you like to score goals, and it was tough to get the goals that I needed, and those things happen in football. I think the most important thing I would always remember about the club is the people that worked at the club and that were played at the club, and they were fantastic people. You just saw Wim Rijsbergen, he just left, and these people, it's nice not to see him for so long and come back like it was yesterday, because him, Eddie, and Benny Weistakers, they were brilliant people then. And most of the people we had at the club at that time were fantastic people, and that's something that I would always remember and always appreciate, because being a person from another country and coming here and them treating you like you're one of them, it's a fantastic thing to have happened, So I'm over the moon to be back and see people that you haven't seen for years.
How was the crowd, the Feyenoord supporters, towards you?
Yeah, they were good. I mean, they're no different from fans any other place in the world. If you're playing well, they're with you. If you're stinking up the field, they'll let you know, So, hey, that's just the way football goes, and Holland's no different from any other place. They're passionate. They want their team to do well. And if you're a player you don't understand, you're a different mentality, So if you give it your all, they will appreciate you. And that's what I found out about them. And that's no different any other place in the world.
We have a lot of success stories over here, players that played for Feyenoord in the past, and they still love the club. Your story is not as successful, but still I feel the love for Feyenoord is there.
Well,
right?
Yes, I fell in love with Feyenoord probably in 72, 74 when I saw him play in a match in England. And I went to watch him play, and I remember watching Willem van Hanegem and Jurgen Christensen play, and they were fantastic players. And from that day, I was hooked on Feyenoord because I liked the way they played. I liked the style they played, and it was great to be able to come here and try to emulate, but it was difficult at that time, and play for them. And I'm glad I had the opportunity. As I say, the tenure that I had here, wasn't the best, but it taught me a lot about the game of football and, how to approach it and how to play it, and I'd always be thankful for that opportunity.
They're filming a documentary about your life. Why is the fact that you are here is for the documentary? Why is this period in your life important?
Well, I think every period of your life is important, and this was something that I had done and was a part of my life. So if I'm going to tell a story, I want to tell the entire story and let people know that I not only played in England, I had a little spell in Holland, I had a little spell in America as well. So, you know, those three things, it's a lot to talk about, and this is why we're here.
In your story, there are also some details or stories that kind of make me sad when I hear them, about the racism you had to face in the stadiums. How was that when you compare it to how that was in England in those days and here in Holland? Did you face the same tough moments?
Not in Holland. I didn't face those things in Holland. It was the earlier days in England. And as I said, it teaches you a lot in life because, as I said, every country is not going to be the same, and you got to be tough. You have to play with passion for a cause. And I was always brought up that I'm not playing for myself. I'm always playing for the players of color that come after me. And that's the way my father brought me up. And I carried that along the way with playing, you know. And I tell young players today, even when you're out there playing, you're not playing for yourself. Think of the younger players that are coming after you.
Have things improved for those younger players that came after you? Do you believe in that?
Well, I think it has improved. I mean, you look at them. Number one, they make a lot more money than we did.
Yeah, that's not what I meant, but that's an improvement for sure.
It's a big improvement. So, you know, they have a lot more things going on. There are probably a lot more tournaments that they play in and competitions that they play in. So, you know, football is a world sport, and that's why Pele called it the beautiful game. You can't beat a good game of football, and if you're a passionate fan, you watch it anywhere in the world. You know, I will watch two cockroaches kicking the football. You know, that's how much I like the game.
What was your all-time high in your career, looking back now?
When you say, oh, my all-time high in my career was probably signing a professional contract at West Ham as a 17-year-old and having the opportunity to travel the world and see other people in different countries and things like that.
And the all-time low, was that here at Feyenoord that season, or the stories with the threatening letter and stuff like that surrounding your career?
Well, I would think more the threatening letters. I mean, you never look at things and say, you know, it was a bad time, you know, because life in January is brief, you know, so you have to make the most of the situation that you're in. You know, of course, coming through Holland and playing, you would have liked to score 20, 30 goals, you know, but it wasn't to be at that time. I mean, I wasn't playing well, the team wasn't playing well, so, you know, we were all in the same boat together, you know. I mean, when I look now and see, hey, they just won the league this year, and that's fantastic. So, you know, as I say, it's in your heart, you're passionate about it, and that will never change.
Is there one Dutch word that stuck with you still after all those years on the training pitch or something?
Well, I always heard the coach, he would yell out, "Loopy, loopy, loopy." And that was.
And did you?
Yeah, it was Wuskov. Yugoslavian, he was a tough fella, you know, a little small fella, but carried a big stick, you know, so you remember those sort of things, you know. And another thing I remember about him, we were playing one night and it was real cold. So I said, I'm not going to put my boots on. So I was in the dugout, and he called me to get my boots on, and I couldn't get them on because my feet were freezing and it was too cold, you know. So that was my end of Feyenoord then, you know, because I wasn't ready to go on and play. So, but hey, it's an experience and it's an adventure, and hey, you look at things, you laugh about it now, but you know, as I said, my spell here, I learned a lot because I got to meet a lot of good Dutch people, and I think they're some of the best people in the world myself, you know, and a lot of us can learn from a country like Holland, because when you look at all the diverse people and different nationalities that live here, it's unbelievable.